Binge the full week of The Ray Taylor Show ad-free over at inspireddisorder.com/plus.
This is The Ray Taylor Show.
Rayz Dayz, episode 155. This is a weekly diary podcast hosted by me, Ray Taylor. Every Saturday, I share updates on my journey as an artist, podcaster, business owner, and human. I'm excited to share my experience with you and hope that my journey can serve as a source of inspiration and positivity for you. In this episode, I'm talking about adding the additional podcast episode to every week, as I am doing not just one episode released on Tuesday, but now 2 episodes released on Tuesday, as well as an episode every other day. I'm also going to give a little update on what I've been using ChatGPT for, and I'm going to talk about the changes I've made to my pricing of my artwork and how I've tried to simplify a lot of things in regards to not only my artwork, but also the events that I've been doing as a way to help promote sales and make them less confusing to people who are stopping by to take a look at my work, based on the 3 shows that I've done and how I've decided to make improvements and changes. So I'll be talking about that. As I do, at the end of every episode, I will be sharing something that I am thankful for. So let's get into my week. As I mentioned, recording 2 episode recap podcasts for Tuesdays. So how my schedule breaks down: every Tuesday, I release a podcast of an episode recap of a TV show. Right? I've recapped episodes from shows like Squid Game, Dave, The Rehearsal. And recently, I've started doing the Peacock show Poker Face, which I am a fan of. It's a fun show. I had done before that, had finished the recap of The Rehearsal. And at that time, there was no updates on when Ted Lasso was going to come back for a season 3. Had no updates yet of when. Actually, I knew Dave was coming out in April. But there was that time frame where I still didn't know when Ted Lasso was coming back. So I was like thinking of either taking a break and not releasing something on Tuesday, which I have not done. I've released an episode every day from one of my podcasts for years now. So to take a break didn't settle well. So I thought of, hey, this Poker Face show is a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it. Probably be fun to talk about. Each episode is different, so it'd be fun to talk about each episode. And just after starting that recap podcast for Poker Face, just after releasing, I think it was probably my first episode, there's the promo for season 3 of Ted Lasso. So I was deciding what I would do as far as how that would handle. Obviously I want to do recaps and release those along with the release of the show, of whatever show I'm recapping, right? Where Poker Face, I'm a few week delay from when the show started, from when I started doing it. But with Ted Lasso, with Dave, with other shows that I've already started podcasts about recapping their episodes, I want those to be released in a timely fashion. So thinking about how I do, I thought of maybe I'll just record a bunch of the Poker Face episodes and just kind of release those fast. Obviously didn't do that because I've also had to prepare for these live events that I'm doing. So adding extra work to the prep I need to do for this show would only take away from the prep I needed to do to prepare for those events. So I didn't do that. So what I've started to do, obviously, is just record. Now I'm recording 8 episodes a week, right? Two of those, the Ted Lasso and the Poker Face recap episodes, both get released on Tuesday. And that additional episode adds easily an additional 2 hours to my work, right? Because it takes about an hour to record the episode, then about an hour to edit the audio, the video, and the clips for each episode. So it adds, so it's literally on recording now on Sundays, the idea I have to start earlier, right? I started a little bit earlier today because in general I've been recording longer episodes, so my recordings have taken longer to finish, and I'm finishing my recording before I start actually editing stuff later and later into the night, which I'm not a fan of. Means I'm staying up later and later. Last week I was up till like 4 a.m. finishing, which was the first week where I had 2 episodes for Tuesday. And I have to my thing that I do is everything gets produced for this show on Sunday, from waking up to record to editing to getting everything uploaded and posted and scheduled. Whether it's the audio, the video, everything is done by the time I go to sleep Sunday night, or in some cases early Monday morning. So this addition of adding, it is so much more work. And there's going to be an overlay for 2 weeks, I think in April, when Dave starts, that there will be 2 weeks where I'll be producing 3 podcast recaps or TV show recap podcasts on Tuesday. I will be doing the last 2 episodes of Poker Face. I'll be almost done with Ted Lasso. I think there will only be a few episodes of that will double up with Dave. But I'll be doing Poker Face, Ted Lasso, and Dave in addition to the 6 other. So I'll be doing 9. It is just going to be insane. And I got to say, when I record these, not only does it take longer, the stool that I'm sitting on, which I love my stool that I sit on. I use it when I paint. It's way better than what I used to use for this show. But I got to tell you, sitting down to record what ends up being about 6.5 hours total podcasting, like, destroys my ass in a way that, like, I am in so much pain. Like, I have to take breaks between each episode just to let the pain subside enough to come back and sit down and do another episode. And you may notice, especially when I record my top 5s, the last episode I record every week comes out Sunday, so it's the last one that I record. You will notice that I'm rocking a lot. I'm moving a lot. That movement is to try and mitigate the pain that I'm feeling, because I am in so much pain by the end of recording these. So know that I am suffering for my craft. And in order to make sure I stay up to date with all of the episode recap podcasts that I'm doing, that I started to do as new seasons come out. And don't be surprised that when Dave season 3 ends and I'm waiting for either like Severance season 2, or I'm waiting for Squid Game season 2, or The Rehearsal season 2, I'm probably not going to release anything while I wait for that. At least that's what I'm saying now. The reality is I will finish the last episode of Dave, and I will see that there's maybe nothing planned. Who knows when the next one will come? And I will probably find a mini series or something to do a recap of. But as of right now, knowing the pain that I'm in and knowing what pain it's going to be for those 2 weeks, and I have a feeling those 2 weeks are also going to be on weeks where I'm having to prepare for live events potentially. So far, I don't have anything booked for April. So it might be 2 months before I get another event anyway, so it might be okay, but not looking forward to it. It's been pain. It's been a pain. And it's interesting with Ted Lasso coming back, what I noticed, all 3, so each episode I make 3 clips to promote on social media, right? So my Ted Lasso recap podcast, I will cut out 3 clips from that episode to post on social media for the next 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. All 3 promo clips of last week's episode were instantly banned on TikTok for violating their community guidelines, which is absolutely ridiculous. I don't cuss. It's nothing. It's just me talking with the episode artwork behind me. There's nothing offensive anywhere, but there is something in the image or the words. I don't know what it is, but all 3 got flagged. Thankfully, I appealed all 3 of them. All 3 were pretty instantaneously reinstated. So just a minor kind of a thing, which is pretty rare with TikTok, but also the way this country is going, TikTok might not even be, all social media may be pretty pointless pretty soon, which doesn't bode well for somebody trying to promote their work on social media when it seems like it's going to be, if TikTok gets banned, it's funded by Meta and Google, I think. But Meta is a big supporter of getting them banned because they don't like the competition. They've tried competing with TikTok and they just can't compete. So now they're just going to try and make that app illegal. And if they do, the model that Meta has introduced is basically the pay-to-play model, where anything you put up on your social media will only get shared if you sign up for their blue checkmark program, which they got that brilliant idea from Elon Musk. So social media platforms are slowly becoming a pay-to-play type of community versus things can organically get popular because they're good, like they do on TikTok. So the idea of being able to promote your work as an artist or a podcast on social media to get like free promotion is probably going to be a thing of the past. And if this legislation passes, it opens the door for complete and utter censorship across the board. So, like, if this thing passes to ban TikTok, it is only going to allow the government and whoever's in charge of the government at any given time to really control the narrative across the board in a way that is terrifying. We are diving directly into fascism, and it sucks. It sucks. As if the potential for AI to take over all of the creative endeavors that people do anyway wasn't scary enough. The fact that this is also happening is just like, it's not good. But I have been using ChatGPT, as I said, and I've used them for a lot of things, right? I've asked it recently to just how can I make like cleaners, like multi-purpose cleaners. My dog is getting older and she's pees on the carpet a lot, like how to clean that, ways to cover up and soak up odor from the carpet, like asking ChatGPT for just basic household cleaning tips. But then also because I've done these events, these pop-up outdoor events where usually sometimes they're during the day, sometimes they're at night, sometimes they start during the day and then the sun goes down and they offer electricity. But the way I set up my tent, my booth, is I have my TV. I bring my TV, my only TV, right? I made a video that I put on a thumb drive. My TV can play media off of a USB thumb drive. So I made a video to show my painting videos that are a big part of my art, right? Every painting I release, you can watch the making of video from multiple different angles at multiple different time-lapse speeds. And I want to promote that at these shows and not just the work. Like, hey, you can watch me paint live every Thursday. You can also see making of videos that I post on all the social medias as well as YouTube, right? So the TV allows me to do that, and because of that makes my booth very sticky. Like, people are addicted to screens, people are addicted to watching things, so when they walk by and they see a TV on of somebody doing something, they can't help but stop and watch. And a lot of the time that brings people in. Let's take a quick break from this episode to talk about, are you a fan of art, movies, and all things entertainment? Then you need to check out youtube.com/inspireddisorder. Our page is jam-packed with all kinds of great content, including making of videos of the many faces, an ongoing art series of abstract ink paintings. But that's not all. We also feature daily episodes from The Ray Taylor Show, a podcast that brings you movie reviews, TV show reviews, episode recaps, opinions, opinions on news and entertainment and much more. There's also a weekly diary and top 5 movie rankings of a variety of categories. And if that wasn't enough, we've also got how-to videos covering all kinds of topics. So why wait? Head on over to youtube.com/inspireddisorder and start exploring the amazing content we have to offer. And now back to the show. And I wanted a way to make that something I can do more consistently and not have to rely on these show promoters to have electricity available, which especially the ones during the day, there's no concern of that. Like there's no need for lighting, and that's generally why you would have power hooked up is for lighting. So generally, even the ones that start during the day, they only turn the power on once the sun goes down and you need the lighting, which I would like to have my TV displayed at all events. So I kind of started looking into generators, specifically the battery-powered ones. And this is something that even back during the pandemic, when I was getting unemployment and I had more disposable income, when I was actually purchasing, kind of upgrading little equipment that I needed to do better work, like better lighting and, new phone, new laptop, things like that. I had thought about potentially getting one of these generators, right? These battery power stations that you can get a solar panel to hook up and charge it from the sun, right? This independent, sustainable kind of power source. And I used ChatGPT to find out what specifically I would need the power station to, like what specs I would need to look at to make sure that I can power my TV for at least like 5 hours or 6 hours. And, it asks like, okay, this is the information you need to get off your TV. And then I put it in and they're like, okay, well, you need to look at a power station that can produce this many watt hours or whatever for at least this many. And it kind of is like, well, it's kind of variable, but I kind of used it as almost like somebody that you would talk to if you went to a store and asked the salesperson, I need something that can fulfill this need of mine. Right? Which, as I used to sell electronics, that is probably the best thing to go into a store, knowing the needs you have and having that salesperson show you the options that will fulfill that need. And thankfully, ChatGPT, very good at doing that. So I found out, I looked at prices, and they're surprisingly, out of my budget. I don't really have money to spend on any of these things, but just kind of getting an idea for the event that I do start making more money at these shows and can afford to get something like that, I think it would be a big improvement for my shows. It would make my shows far more successful. So like as an investment. And then I started thinking, could I potentially get a company that makes these to sponsor me? And I would use them, show their, feature their product prominently, showing that it is powering my TV, it is powering my lights, maybe even get a little fan during the summer months when it's hot out, and I could put the solar panels on the roof of my 10 by 10 canopy very easily, and kind of display their product in a way where it's in use, showing a practical use that is out of the box and different from these products generally are sold to people who camp or somebody that might want a backup power source if their home power cuts out. But I've never seen it used in a way to make these vendors that go to these kinds of shows independent from needing any kind of power source, especially when you go to shows and having access to power is very inconsistent, depending on your show, depending on the hours you're going to, all of these things. So I asked ChatGPT and kind of went back and forth and formulated like a proposal, what to write in an email to these companies to promote these, to potentially get a sponsor. So it's like, not only have I used ChatGPT to help me with the titles, description, tags of my YouTube videos, the intros and outros to some shows, the ad copy for the ads that I put in different episodes, but also using it to help me formulate a plan and put everything together to potentially contact a business to hopefully get at least free products to use in order that would, even if I only got a generator and, whatever products they send me, for display purposes that I could use, would be amazing. But potentially even cover the fees that I need to sign up for these events, right? So I'm not starting these events at a financial deficit where I have to at least sell a certain amount of paintings in order to just cover the costs of going in the first place, which going to these events there's no guarantees of anything. And especially if the events are new or depending on their location, the time of year, like the potential for earning is is no guarantee. So if I could at least guarantee that by going to these events, I can cover the costs or even make a little money just going to the event, then everything I sell is just gravy. In addition to that, having a power dependent display that is the most effective way to not only bring people in to see my work, to see the making of videos, but I sold electronics for 10 years, for a decade. I could sell the shit out of these products as well. Like if somebody came in to look at my art and had questions about the generator, the solar panels, all of these things, it would not take me long to understand and the best ways to sell these things to people and the many ways they can be used that are out of the box, that are different from the standard type of use cases that these devices are sold at. So worked on that this week. Like just went down a rabbit hole going back and forth with ChatGPT trying to figure out what I need to do, giving the ChatGPT the information and the ideas I have, and just like collaborating with this AI in order to hopefully put a proposal together to reach out to these companies to do something I'm not seeing anybody do that could improve what I do, improve sales, make me put a better product out to the world, but also sell their product in a way they may not have thought of. So that's kind of one of the big things I've been working on with ChatGPT, which I've kind of used it to formulate ideas of how to market stuff. Of like even when I started doing these shows, it kind of helped me really fine tune the things that I wanted to do, the type of signage I want to do, the things that I want to try and get people to do, and experiment with different ideas to try and be as sticky as possible or absorbent as possible when you go to these events. So that was a big aspect of what I worked on this week, since I don't have to prepare for a show. I may be 2 months before my next show, so I have a lot of time to kind of do all of these things to set up to hopefully get back. Like each time I want to make small improvements, understand what I'm doing when I go to these events, and seeing where I can improve, seeing how I can communicate what I'm doing and what I'm there for and what I'm trying to sell in a way that makes it so easy for people walking by casually to just get it. Just know and get it and be in and like kind of remove any barriers of having to be explained anything. So I've been working on that as well. And part of that simplification that I've been doing, part of the changes that I've made, which I made one of the biggest changes from the first two events that I did, and I may have mentioned this when I recapped on last week's episode, where I had a table that was kind of in the center that had free stickers and coupon codes, as well as one of my portfolios of artwork. And I completely removed that table. So it's just a complete open space when you walk into my canopy to just take in and look at the artwork that's on the nets that are on the two sides of the canopy. And then the main display at the front, like when you are facing inside, looking into my canopy, that back wall is where the TV goes. I have my shirts displayed and a couple of the larger framed paintings that cost more, right? It's kind of the feature wall of my canopy. And then on either side are all of the original paintings that I'm selling. So one of the things I've noticed is people not seeing the prices right? I've tried different kinds of price tags, hanging them up, and I've noticed, one, I had way too many prices. There was like, I would charge a specific amount for each square inch of a painting. So I would just multiply the length and height of the painting by the cost per square inch, and that would give me a price, and I would kind of round it to the nearest $5. And that was like, especially in the, like, I have paintings that are like 5x8, 6x8, 6x9, 6x6, 8x8, right? There's a lot of like fluctuation in those prices, and I just like simplify everything. So now I have $20 paintings, which are the 4x6 and 6x6. I have $40 paintings, which are the 8x8, 6x8, 5x8, 6x9. 6x9 is kind of the newer paintings of that size range I'm doing. So those are all at $40. And then it jumps up to $100 for my 9x12s, which are the ones I've done the most of, but recently I'm doing the smaller version, the $20 and $40. So basically 3 price points. The shirts are $20, the smaller paintings are $20, the mid-range paintings are only $40, and then the kind of more premium price, the larger paintings, which are only 9x12, are $100, and then I have the bigger framed paintings, which are more based on that price per square inch model. So because I've narrowed everything down to 3 prices, 20, 40, and 100, I thought I should color code them with primary colors, because those are the colors I use to make my paintings. I only use, in addition to black, I have yellow, red, and blue. Those are the inks I use when I paint, and different mixtures of those when they hit the brush, when they hit the paper, they blend and make all the other different colors. But I only have the 3 colored ink. I don't have 20 different colors of inks when I'm starting. Only the 3 primary colors. So I figured, works great. Primary colors, great. And I asked ChatGPT just to see what the response would be. I was like, hey, I have 3 price points of my artwork, and I want to correlate those prices to color, each a primary color. What colors would you match with the color? How would you pair those together? Right? And this is what it said. When it comes to pairing colors with prices, there are many options to consider. However, the most common pairing for primary colors and their corresponding values is as follows. Red, $100. Red is associated with high energy, passion, and intensity, and is often used to grab attention. It's a bold and commanding color that can convey value of a premium product or service. In this case, you could pair this with the $100 price tag to emphasize the value of your artwork. Blue, $40. Blue is a calming, soothing color that is often associated with stability, trust, and professionalism. It can be used to convey a sense of security and reliability, which makes it a good fit for the mid-price item. You could pair blue with $40 price tag to suggest that your artwork is a good value for the money. And yellow, $20. Yellow is a bright and cheerful color that is associated with warmth, optimism, and happiness. It can be used to convey a sense of friendliness and approachability, which makes it a good fit for the lower priced item. You could pair yellow with the $20 price tag to suggest that your artwork is an affordable and accessible option. Of course, these are just suggestions that, and there is no one quote unquote correct way to pair colors with prices. You may want to experiment with different color combinations to see what works best for your artwork and target audience. Let's take a quick break from this episode because I want to talk about, are you looking to add some unique and expressive artwork to your home, office, or wardrobe? Look no further than the Many Faces series by Ray Taylor. That's me. These abstract paintings on paper explore the endless possibilities of the human face, capturing unique expressions of emotion, mood, tone, and energy in just a few minimal features. Now you can bring these stunning and thought-provoking pieces into your own space with high-quality prints and t-shirts. featuring designs from the Many Faces series. Or take home a one-of-a-kind original piece for your collection. Don't miss out on this opportunity to add some original and expressive artwork to your home, office, or wardrobe. Head on over to InspiredDisorder.com to browse and purchase original artworks, prints, and t-shirts from the Many Faces series today. And now, back to the show. I've been watching a lot of Star Trek The Next Generation, and when I read ChatGPT's response, when I read that response, I can't help but read it in the voice of Data, because it is so much that is how Data would answer that. Just such a complete answer, not only pairing the colors, but giving great examples why each color should be paired with each price. So that's what I'm doing. Probably next week. I bought yarn, 3-colored yarn, and I'm going to weave the colored yarn. I'm going to figure out how I want to format my nets, because I want to. The idea is to have, obviously, the $100, $40, and $20 art is all going to be on both sides of the net. The least expensive, the $20 ones, are going to be closer to the opening of the canopy, and then the $40 in the kind of towards the back, and then the $100 kind of frames everything, which I have it now. If you look at my social media, you see how I have it set up now, which there's only a small section. I have a section of $20, the other 3 are $40, and then the big ones around that kind of frame it almost like glasses is $100. So I'm going to reformat the nets, add the color. I already started doing the price tags, the new price tags where the price is. It's just going to be the price. The price is going to be written in the color that is corresponding. So I'm going to try and make it as easy as possible, right? You see a price tag that says $40. The 40 is written in blue. You see paintings that are surrounded by blue yarn, outlined by blue yarn. It just trying to communicate as simply as possible what a painting costs, which I've noticed is like a small, it's a common question. How much is this? Even though I have, or they clarify, this is 100, right? Right. So trying to avoid that, trying to make it as simply communicated as possible, and using ChatGPT for stuff like that as well. So, I have all these little changes that I'm doing. Taking less artwork, really just focusing on making newer artwork in these smaller sizes, right? Because sometimes just selling a bunch of the smaller paintings is good, and then I only need one of the bigger paintings to sell, right? Just sell one of the $100 paintings, maybe 2. I just trying to get as much of the artwork that I take as new as possible, which a lot of these smaller pieces are way older, where the $100 pieces are all new. That's simple. That's got my updated style and where I'm at with my art. But all the older stuff, it's it's kind of cringy, some of the work, because it's I've been doing this for years, and to look back at older work. But that's been the big things that I've been doing with ChatGPT, with trying to make small adjustments to make these events easier. I'm taking way less stuff. I don't have a table to take. I have all of the folders of artwork that nobody was flipping through anyway, not taking those, focusing on just making sure I bring my newest work in the 3 sizes and price points that I want to sell, and just trying to find a way to display the video as much as possible, which that is going to be more of the, hopefully I can get a sponsorship to fill in that gap. But those are the improvements and the changes and things that I've been making with the events and using ChatGPT and all of that stuff. But I want to talk about, as I do at the end of every episode of Rayz Dayz, talk about something that I am thankful for. And this is similar in some ways to last week, but this is definitely different. And this week, I am thankful for people who purchase artwork made by a human. Not just people that purchase artwork from me, people who go to these events, who purchase, whether it's artwork or crafts, macrame, crochet, shirts, paintings, whatever it is, purchasing things that were actually made by a person, because there is a lot of competition out there for artists, right? There is and has been for a long time these mass-produced products, these decorative products that people can buy at like Bed Bath and Beyond or Target, right? There's the wood that has in cursive live, laugh, love. Like there's all these kind of like things that are made to look like they're handmade goods, but they're just mass-produced things where they're getting from Walmart, Target, IKEA, whatever it is, versus buying something that a human actually made, right? Art made by hand, right? The original NFT. And not that I have necessarily anything against digital artists. And not that I even have anything against people who create art through AI. I think it's art. I think all that stuff's art. I even think the decorative mass-produced stuff that you buy at these big box stores is art. I don't think it's as valuable. I don't think it's as good in a way as something that is handmade. It doesn't have the heart. It doesn't have the same life to it that something that is 100% original and handmade does, because there's an imperfection that comes from something that is handmade. There is a raw and a real nature that mass-produced items try to emulate, you know, the imperfections to make it seem like it's, except for each imperfection is the exact same on everything. So, right, So I know that there are people out there that appreciate and go out of their way to support people that make stuff. And those are the people that I love, because it's way easier and probably way more affordable to decorate your home with mass-produced stuff that you buy on Amazon or whatever. But the people that take the time to go to these types of shows, these events, these art fairs, whatever it is, even through Etsy. You can buy mass-produced stuff through Etsy. You can dig and find artists. I've never had success on Etsy. I think it's a pretty broken system as far as artists trying to sell original work, at least in my experience. But, you know, you can still, in theory, buy original work through sites like that. You can go to websites, artist websites, follow artists on Instagram or any of the social media, and hopefully, I would imagine most of them have a type of way you can purchase their work from them, whether they have a website or whether, you know, they have a PayPal or a Venmo where you can work it out through their DMs. But like, those people are the reason why artists exist and survive. And that's what I'm trying to do as an artist, trying to survive by people who are willing to spend their money on things that I make by hand. And I try to do the things I make in a way that gets me to stand out from other people and from the AI stuff. And the, you know, like, you can buy it, like, AI makes gorgeous masterpieces, but you can't watch the AI create that masterpiece. You can't even watch most artists that make art make their paintings, make their work. A lot more do nowadays, but that's one thing that I take pride in, and I've been doing for thousands of paintings, is recording the making of. To where if you buy a painting from me, aside from a select few times where I forgot to hit record, but now I record from multiple angles. So if you buy a painting from me, not only are you getting an original piece of artwork that is made by hand, but you can actually watch that piece of artwork be made by hand from 3 different camera angles. One of the angles is watching me actually paint. You can watch the weird things my face does when I paint, but that's like a big aspect of why I record. That, like, you can actually see this painting become a thing. And you can see the process that I do it. And I talked about last week that I don't know what the painting is going to look like. It is as much a surprise to me as it is to anybody watching the video what it ends up being. So, you know, I appreciate the people that actually spend money and to buy art. And I love it, and I appreciate it, and I'm thankful for those people, not only for the people that buy artwork from me, but people that buy art from artists, because those people are very special, and they're doing good things, and they're keeping artists alive, and they're investing in this thing that is one of the oldest types of products made is art, and trying to make sure that that stays, that form that is made by hand, that is original pieces, that is like when you look closely you see all the imperfections, but you know that all of those things come from a very real place. So I'm thankful for all those people, and I appreciate their imperfections, and I'm glad that they appreciate my imperfections. Upcoming events, no events booked yet for April. I'm reaching out to a lot of other places. There's a farmer's market that takes place in La Quinta every week. There was a new event that took place at the Bermuda Dunes Airport. There's all these other events that I've kind of put out feelers to, so I'm hoping to book more events as other events may or may not do, for whatever reason, aren't doing anything next month. But as I book stuff, I will add them to my calendar, which you can see all of the events that I'm participating in, all of the live and local events that I'm participating in over on my website, inspireddisorder.com/events. It's also a little link at the top of my website, inspireddisorder.com. Click on events. You can see my calendar, which every Thursday I paint live. So that's an ongoing event that will never change. I might change the time I record if there's an event Thursday that I need to adjust that, but that will always be the same. And any local events that I book, I'm going to put there. And I'm reaching out, trying to, at this point, I have nothing booked. So it's going to be May will be as far as the next one, which I still haven't booked anything, but I know there's events that are for sure coming back in May. So regardless, head on over to inspireddisorder.com for events for all my upcoming live and local events. And I'm also thankful for the opportunity to connect with all of you through this podcast and for the chance to share my journey with you. Please join the conversation by leaving a comment or rating on your favorite podcast platform or over on youtube.com/inspireddisorder if you are watching these episodes. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next week next Saturday, I should say, for an all-new episode of Rayz Dayz.
New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on YouTube and everywhere our podcasts are found. Binge the full week over at inspireddisorder.com/plus. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!
Today is the day where you wake up and you realize that everything that you've been dreaming about, everything that you've been wanting, every goal and wish and hope that you've ever had can become real. Dreams can come true. What you manifest in your mind